Hey everybody, it's Ian with Ardmore Construction, and we are back today with episode 6 on the how-to series. Today's video is going to be DIY shelving. Now, as I was editing this video, I noticed that some points that I was trying to get across just didn't get put across very well. So you will see me popping in from time to time to just kind of generally describe what I'm doing. But honestly, the imagery and the overall video quality of everything that you need to see is pretty well recorded, and I'm honestly really excited to get this video going. The purpose I had intended for this video is that we're going to do DIY shelving with extra 2x4 and screws laying around the house. Granted that you have the tools already laying around. Now, if that's not for you and you don't have 2x4 and screws laying around, I've got a price point for you. This whole build will cost you roughly under $200, or at least that's what it costed me. So now that we have all of that out of the way, let's get into DIY shelves. So step number one, when it comes to DIY shelving, you really have to do proper preparation because design means everything and you'll save a lot of time on the turnaround. So what I'm going to be starting with here is I'm going to start framing the exterior skeleton, which is basically going to be the support for the shelves and everything else to come. All right, so this is the area where we'll be putting the shelving here. I know it's kind of a tight squeeze, but they've had shelving in here previously. So we're gonna give it to about right here. We're gonna add shelving all up along here, and this area over here. So I've already got the studs cut for the skeleton for this wall here. So I'll go ahead and install those now. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing to this wall here and this wall here. One thing that I do wanna note is I am screwing the screws into the wall. Luckily for this wall, I've got a wood backing, so that's pretty nice. I don't necessarily have to find studs on this. But for this wall here and this wall here, I'm definitely gonna have to find some studs to be hitting the wood. I have a laser level here with me. This is just for a reference, but if you can see here, that's pretty level. Trust me, when it comes to the finished product, these steps are the most crucial when it comes to making those shelves and putting those in there so everything looks really nice. And as you can see now, the skeleton is complete. All right, so this is what it is looking like now here. I've got my two supports. I'm gonna put my supports down in here and then down in here. And then once I get those supports done, I'm gonna be able to go ahead, get the measurements for the shelves, cut the shelves and install those. All right, so we got our first pieces cut for the shelf here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start installing the first level of shelves. I'll see you guys on the second level. All right, so we've got the second layer of shelves here. Let me show you what those look like. Yeah, it is getting really crowded. So I did place some support studs at the bottom here for this first layer of shelving, as you can see down there as well. For this second layer of shelving, it is pretty sturdy and strong, just like the first layer. Nothing too terribly heavy is gonna go into this second shelving, so I didn't put any support studs on this second layer here. That's kind of how I did the pipes there as well. If you're a plumber, don't come at me. I didn't touch your plumber at all, but it's gonna be pretty fun if you gotta do any work around there, I'll tell you that much. It is about closing time for Friday here, so I'll be back on Monday to finish the rest of this. I'll see you guys Monday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we paused on Friday and we're coming back on Monday. For Monday, my goal and plan is to make sure that we get those top layers of shelves installed. Now, this is where the detailed part comes in hand, so you probably wanna get a notebook ready. But before we get into Monday's portion of the video, if you could click the like button, subscribe to this channel because we are dropping how-to content at least once a week to this channel. And lastly, turn on your notifications because sometimes you just don't want to miss some good content. Also, on a side note, we drop content every single day on our Instagram. The link for that's going to be in our bio. But without further ado, let's get into Monday. It is Monday, we've had our coffee, we are back, and now we're moving on to the more detailed upper shelves of this project. And I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna go with this method, but I'm gonna put a shelf on here and see if that's sturdy enough to my liking. This video is gonna be for maximum security DIY shelves, but not having to spend any money. So that means using the extra 2x4s and plywood that you have laying around and playing with whatever you're going to design and seeing if it works or not. And here is a great example of it just not working out, and I got to try something else different. So I kind of figured I didn't think it was going to work. Even though it's very sturdy over on this end, it's not enough to my liking, and there's no support down here. So I'm going to have to figure a way to support this to give it that extra strength. And that right there is just a clear example of trial and error and trying to figure out what works best with what you got laying around in your house. What if I just took the one piece that was gonna go here, cut it in half, use the other side, and voila. That saves me a lot of extra lumber. Now remember, this is just a DIY at home fun, whatever. This is not anything you do for somebody to cut corners. All right, so we just finished these DIY shelves. So let's take a look at the finished product.